he said to me, as a 20 something, what would the advice that you would have given to your 20-year-old self breaking into pro wrestling? When I was 20, I don't think I was breaking in necessarily, but 20 something, let's just call it whatever. So the advice that I would give would be to remember that all of the shit you hear people say um, needs context, because I think advice or ways that people lived their careers or did the things that they did, um, there's context to the advice or what the way they operated, and without that context it can be misapplied. So I'll give you a for instance, an example. So Shawn Michaels, legendary in the industry, so much so that, like, I'll say this: when I was in NXT, and Shawn Michaels became our coach, our like when I moved to what would be considered the advanced class, and Shawn was our coach. So for the first 2 weeks that I'm in film study meetings with the man, um, I I barely heard a word that came out of his fucking mouth, because the whole time we're in there, I'm just going, "Holy shit, you're Shawn Michaels. You're fucking Shawn Michaels." Like, so, I wasn't, in no disrespect, but like, I was too busy doing that, and I couldn't be present in the moment and take in what information he was giving us. Anyway, point being, back then, you would hear stuff like Sean had said, like, if you're not, it might not, I might be misquoting, but people have definitely said, like, if you're not here to be champion, like, what are you here for? And like, wins and losses, um, they they don't matter, but at the same time, like, if you put everybody over, you can't, then you're, it's when, like, you just lose your value. And so wins and losses, as much as everybody when I was coming up would tell you, like, oh, they don't mean anything, nobody really applied that. Like, it was hard not to get caught up in, and all these years later, I truly do understand and realize that, like, they don't matter, and that I think the term jobber is, it's just pretty fucked up, because if you're, what is a jobber? Like, you go out and you do your job, and if your job that evening is to lose or it's to win, you go out and you do the best job that you can do. So, like, I don't see how it's a derogatory term to be a jobber. Like, I go out and I do my job. If I go out and do my job and the boss man signs, not Ray Trailer, but uh, the the boss, whether that be Vince McMahon or Triple H or um, I don't fucking know, like, anybody. Uh, if they sign your check and you get to take that thing and deposit it into your account because you did your job, like, what's not to respect about that? Um, anyway, so I just think it takes context, and I think that, when Sean or anybody else, Dusty, would say something about putting people over, or not doing it, too much because it'll devalue you. Um, you have to remember the context in those moments, and for me, I think, yeah, you kind of struggle with it, because you're like, okay, well, I need to, get a certain, I need to win more than I lose, or else I'm a jobber. And I don't know, at the end of the day, like, having been an athlete since I was a kid, on various levels. I mean, like, I didn't play in the NFL, but I played college football, and I was successful in high school football and different things. And I'm not living in my past, but like those things, going and winning a boxing fight in Dubai. Like, I don't know. I mean, I won those things on my merit. I was a captain of this team or that team, and that was based on my peers at the time, like voting me into that position. So, like, it was on my merit that I achieved any of that stuff. So, in that way, like, yeah, I have pride in those things. When it comes to pro wrestling, like, wrestling on certain PLEs, they're called now, or like, performing in front of whatever, 60 some odd thousand people in the Tokyo Dome. Things like that are definitely cool. Having been to Japan however many times I have, based on my ability to do this job well, like those are things that are like a feather in your cap, right? But like, whether you were the tag team champion of this or you were the world champion of that, like at the end of the day, these things are given. You're picked for that, and that's very cool. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I guess my advice to a 20-year-old me would be truly like to just take it all with a grain of salt, because some of the advice applied to like a situation that maybe at the time when Shawn was quoted as having said this thing, it matters, the circumstances. So if you take it out of that context and then you try to apply it to yourself, not gonna be a direct transition, and it may not be the best advice. So I don't know. That would be what I would tell a 20-year-old me, is just take it all with a grain of salt, man, and keep your head on straight, and don't be stupid.